Hello everyone, Argsy here. Welcome back to Argsy Farms here on the Oaks multiplayer server. We're starting off a little bit differently today. I thought I would come down and show you our wheat field that we part own with Dazed. Show you all the tram lines and everything that we put in last week when we seeded that. So as you can see from up here, everything has worked out pretty much perfectly. There must be a couple of spots where I overran the headland pass, you can see down there in the foreground. And obviously a couple of spots where we didn't quite see the field properly. You can see a little bit of line down there. But all in all, I think that looks pretty cool. You can see all those tram lines through there. In terms of the field, it's all growing perfectly. Because it was ploughed, it doesn't have any weeds in it, so we're actually only going to have to get in there at some stage and give it a shot of nitrogen, some fertilizer applied to it. So we'll be able to run down those tram lines and do that. Now, in other news, we've had a busy few days and we've had some great help from some wonderful people. Legion has been on. He has baled and mowed, windrowed, baled and cleared bales on our grass field down there, and partly because we're going to change that field over. That's going to become an arable field for the rest of the season. And over this side of the fence, our two fields over here, Mark Haythornthwaite, TW Productions and 2W Farms, has been in and cultivated to collect rocks and got these fields pretty much ready for us to seed into. Got some good pH values down on there. They are all good. We just need to get in with our planter and get things seeded. So what I'm planning at the moment, this field here on the corner is going to become our grass field. We're going to put some grass in there, and then the other two fields definitely have canola in the one that had the wheat, the one over there in the distance. That is definitely going to be canola. I'm not sure what we're going to do down in the littler one down there. I think we might put canola in that as well, purely because from a rotational point of view, it's probably not worth having wheat in there. We've probably got enough straw in the other field, and plus we're going to get a whole lot of straw here off the wheat with Dazed. Maybe we could put wheat. I was thinking we won't have much benefit to it, but with this wheat field here and the fact we're going to take 2/3 of that off as our crop and 1/3 for Dazed, it might actually be worth it. So I think I've just changed my mind while we're talking about it. Changing my mind again, we can't plant wheat. We're out of time. We had to plant that last month. So canola it is. We'll put canola in those two fields and then grass down here in this one, and this will become our grass field. Take some silage off for the next season or so. I want to try and keep things rotating. We might just put this one into the one field down there into grass, or out of grass for just one season and convert it back, because I think it's quite a good size for what we need for taking grass off it. I don't want to have to be dealing with bales all the time. We've got a good stock of supply in the shed at the moment for our cows and keeping them fed, so I think I might just make do with that for one season, being a different crop, just to give it a rotation and a bit of a cycle there. So that is the plan. But today, well, the plan for today, we haven't actually got that far yet, is to get these two fields here definitely planted and possibly get down and cultivate, rip that field up down there and get that ready to be seeded as well. It needs some pH, it needs some lime put on it, so we might see if there's someone who can do that for us. But yeah, lots to do. Not quite as much as I had anticipated there might have been, so which is good. Also, in other news, we do have a contracts manager who's coming on in a trial format to start off. So Bandit 91, thank you very much for your offer of assistance. We'll get you all set up, or we're getting you all set up to try and do some contracts for us. So that'll be good to get that running as well. Thank you to everyone else who offered as well. Your offers have been noted, and if an opportunity arises in the future, or if you're still interested, let me know, because I'm sure as we grow there will be more opportunities to come in here and help us. But anyhow, love those tram lines, look so good. We're going to try and do those actually in our canola fields too, try and get some tram lines planted in with those. So we'll see if we can get that all set up and working for ourselves. Anyhow, that's enough of my introduction and talking. Let's head on over to the yard. We'll go and get the tractor pulled out. We'll come down and start on some planting. We'll go and start on some planting, and then we'll see how we go with getting this field down here ploughed in, and yeah, just get into it. So back down here at the yard, we've got the seeder out and we've got the tractor here. We're going to get some seed put in it. There's a little bit in there. We did buy those 4,000 litres of seed, 4 bags. Yeah, so we'll just get that in the right spot. We'll see that will start filling up. I think we'll probably be able to put 2, maybe 3 bags, 2.5 possibly, in the seeder before it's full. So I'm hoping that we've got enough seed to see us through these fields. We should do. It'll be close. It'll be close. I try not to over purchase our seed, just get enough for this season. So we'll see how it goes. We'll get another bag picked up here. Right spot for that. There we go. That's grabbed. Stood around. Certainly a lot easier doing this from third person view from outside the cab than when I tried to do it last time from inside the cab. Yeah, stood up over there. My high knife bumping into our planter, damaging some tines or something like that, but here we go. Another one going in. See how full it is. Definitely will be able to take a third bag, which is fine. There we go, you can start to see it getting a bit closer to full. We'll get back in, get that third bag in, and we'll head on down to the field. Like I said, that is us full, so we're going to head on down to the field. We're going to start off with the grass. We've got the grass seed selected already in the planter, so we'll go and get going in there. The beauty of that is we don't have to worry about tram lines in the grass, so we'll be able to have a bit of a play around while we're doing that, have a bit of a think how to set it up, and then once we jump into the canola field, that we will be able to set that up for the tram lines. But let's head on down there. The other thing I need to have a look at, and we'll check when we get down there with our precision farming, is what our nitrogen score is like, because bear in mind we did have that cover crop in there which was meant to be able to boost our nitrogen, so I'll be intrigued to see if it does look better than it did, or how it looks as we're going into this. Obviously we can't put any nitrogen down with this planter, it is a seeder only, so we'll have to come through and apply some nitrogen a little bit later, possibly at the same time we do it there on the wheat fields. But yeah, let's go and make a start here with the grass. Alright, we'll get down here, we'll get this unfolded. Now before we get started, let's just have a look at that precision farming and see what our nitrogen looks like. There we go. Interestingly enough, obviously we didn't have any data to start with, so I'm not sure how this looked like before today. So whether it was a darker red, more in that sort of 0 to 20, got 20 across some spots, 40 across the majority of it. So 20, 40, a little bit of 60 there. So it'll be interesting. Would have been interesting to have checked to see if we actually added any when we went through and did that. Obviously getting a bit dark down there, we probably need to get our data redone because that's very dark down there, and you can see actually when we take it off, getting close to running out of our data. So we need to probably think about sorting that out at some stage. But there we go, let's get this turned on. It's spooled up and get dropped down into the field, and we will just make a start running down this headland, going, and we'll see about setting a GPS course up and just getting straight into getting this grass planted. Love how fast this seeder is though, it's so good running here along at 11 miles per hour. Very, very speedy indeed. So we're up and going, we're heading around the headland for the second time. We've got all our GPS and everything like that set up, and well, we're seeding. Almost used 10% of seed up, so we certainly have enough to get through this field. We only use maybe half of it, but interesting to see how much of the canola we go through when we change over to canola and get into that field next to us. But for now, we're just going to jump ourselves into a little bit of a time lapse, get this field planted, and we'll see when we're finished. That's pretty much our first field planted as we run along the last pass here. Quite happy actually with how that worked out with the way I was doing the lands there, that we've ended up at the right end with the right number and not having to turn around on ourselves. It's yeah, like I said, worked out very, very well. Haven't even used half the seed up either, so we should have more than enough, fingers crossed, to definitely get the canola planted in the field next to us, and possibly even to go and get whatever we're going to plant down in that other field. I'll have a look because I have a feeling we might be able to plant some oats or barley, but I think because it's such a small field, we've already got wheat going in next door, planted next door, probably not a huge benefit to planting another cereal crop. Just look at getting the canola there and having an option there to sell that down to Bovine, and he can use that in his oil production. So we'll head on next door. We are going to go and have a little bit of a play around with the proceed, see if we can get that set up to do some tram lines for us in the canola, and we'll go and get started planting that. So over here in the next field, we've changed over to canola in the cedar, and we've got our proceed set up. Now our spreader we have is a 42 metre wide spreader, so I've set it up based on that, which with our 6 metre wide planter means every 7 rows we should be putting down some tram lines. Now it starts off using the GPS guidance, so we've set our hedge up here along this side of the field, so this will be track number 1. Ideally, as we get into this and get around, it will start doing our tram lines on the 4th pass, and then we'll be all good to go. So we're going to give this a whirl, see what ends up happening. I'm going to have to try and manually do it, I think, when we're on our headlands. We'll go around 3 times, then on the 4th pass we'll do 4 headland laps. On the 4th one we'll try and turn on headlands manually, tram lines manually when we go across the end headlands, because it should do it automatically otherwise when we're doing the up and down. So we'll see how we go. We'll keep an eye on it. I do need to do a little bit more research into the vehicle control add-on, which Dazed uses. Obviously just looking here, this field's not quite square along this edge either, so we can have a little bit that we won't quite pick up when we come to spreading, but that's alright. Manage that. So let's see how we get on. We'll put this into a little bit of a montage. We'll time-lapse the last, so we'll montage this, and we'll just keep a little bit of a running tab on how our tram lines and everything work out, and I'll let you know. there we go, that's the canola field pretty much all done. We get finished along here, get up to the end of the field, and we finished. Now, I don't know what happened with my Proceed and with my tram lines, but you can see these little spotches here, which then disappear. They should be my tram lines. That should have been a pass that had a tram line in it, but for some reason, they haven't worked. So I'll do a little bit more research into that and figure out what the problem was. I do wonder if it's something to do with the angle I've planted at compared to the terrain angle on the map, whether it couldn't create a tram line, but we'll let Dazed log in, probably ask him, he might be able to help. We take a look at our field 33, which we planted in this direction, and we also had the headland tram lines. There's no reason for it not to have worked, so like I say, I don't know what the problem is. We'll have to try and figure that one out. Let's get this folded up. We will head on back to the yard for now. We're going to have to get in and roll this field. We don't have to roll the grass, but this one does need rolling. Mark Haythornthwaite has offered the use of his roller, which is great, so might have to take him up on that. But we're going to go back and go and grab our subsoiler, head on down to our grass field. We're going to go and get that one turned in and see if we can get that one planted as well. We've been down to the yard and got our subsoiler. I'm just going to pull straight in here. Now we should be able to subsoil this without any dramas. Let's just do a double check. Spin around, have a look, lower that down. Here we go, no issues because we've ploughed this field once already. So we did convert it into what will be effectively an arable field, want of a better description. So let's head on down this end. We're going to go and try and do the centre of the field first, and then we'll do some headland passes. It's Mark offering us the roller, which is great. So I think nothing much left to do. We'll get this all set up down here. Turn off those, get that all up and going. We'll try and set a bit of a GPS course up as we go. It's easy for us. Too precious about being on the right angle here because we can tidy up on our headlands. As we left enough space to go around 2 or 3 times. Should be pretty good there. Turn our lines on, get our width set. We're up and going. Alright. Can take a wee bit of time. It's not the biggest, widest subsoiler, and we're only going at 7 miles per hour, but it won't take us too long. Only a narrow little field. So we'll get into it, jump into a time lapse, and we'll see you when we're done. Well, that's not ideal. We've just come to a complete standstill and we're out of DEF. Just having a look. Legion had mentioned it to me, he said you might have to get some more. But let's just hop in. It's showing a blue dot there. It doesn't look like it's out. There was no warning, there was no flashing or anything like that. Not like the fuel gauge does. Our DEF is completely empty. Can't start it. It says refuel vehicle. So, we're a little bit of a pickle now. We're going to have to go and find some DEF. I don't even think there's any left down in the yard. We'll have to go and find out, see if there is. Otherwise, we're off down to the shop to get that all sorted out. So, I think I'm actually going to run out of time to carry on. I was hoping to get this field finished and look at what we're going to plant, and that was going to be all I was going to get done in this session. So, yeah, on that little cliffhanger of will he or won't he get the field finished, and how are they going to get the tractor back to the yard or get it fueled up with some DEF, I might wrap things up there. So, thank you all very much for watching. As always, I hope you have enjoyed the episode, and I'll catch you in the next one.